So I'd like to introduce one of the candidates for supervisor. What is your name and what township do you live in?
I'm Jacob Newcomer and I'm from Guilford Township.
And why do you want to be a supervisor?
I think that being involved with soil and water is important for the future of conservation in Medina County.
Nice. How did you first become interested in conservation?
Probably when I started making decisions on the farm, just seeing the benefits of using conservation practices, I think.
Alrighty. What is the goal of soil and water that you are passionate about?
Conserving soil by using conservation practices.
I could see why that would be important for you.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. And why would you specifically be an asset to the supervisor board?
I think being involved in agriculture and kind of being able to come at it from an agricultural perspective, I think is important. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jake. I'd like to introduce our candidate for supervisor. Could you tell us your name and what township you're from?
Yes, good morning. I'm Stuart Neal, and I live in Medina City, but our home is in Buckeye School District.
And why do you want to be a supervisor?
Well, I want to be a supervisor because, first off, I love this county. I love the people here. This has been my home since the mid-'70s, and I want to be relevant. I want to be relevant to everybody, and we're all on the same food chain, so what affects one will affect me, will affect you and your family, and so we have to protect our water, our soil, our air, and that's why I want to be a supervisor. I want to be a relevant part of Medina County.
Nice. When did you first become interested in conservation?
Well, I'm 70 years old, and I was a freshman at Kent State in 1970, and that was the year of the inauguration of Earth Day. And ever since then, I've always had a passion about our environment and where we live and the quality of our life. So I've always had a passion for this ever since the awareness of that.
Nice.
And I straddle two generations. The generation where you would wantonly spread DDT, poisons. It was just a given. You would just spread a poison and not even worry or think about the results. And so that was the impetus for Earth Day. And so I straddled both eras, really. And so I saw what it did, and now I see what we can do to avoid that and be better stewards of our environment.
It's wonderful. What is the goal of Soil and Water Conservation District that you are passionate about?
Well, I'm not sure about the goal because I'm just coming on board. But the thing I have going for me as far as passion is that I never met a stranger. We're all in this together. We're all in the same food chain. And the other thing is that I have 2 ears and 1 mouth. So that says I'm going to listen more than I talk. So if by listening, listen to what people have to say, what their problems is, what the solutions can be, and then we can work through things. So my biggest thing is communication.
Nice. And how would you, Stuart, how would you yourself be an asset to the board?
Oh, I'd be an asset to the board because, like I say, I never met a stranger. I've lived in Medina County and loved this county and its people since the mid-'70s. And I've been on the Agriculture Society. I've been a Fair Board member for 20 years. And if you can survive 20 years of being on the Fair Board, and I'm the superintendent of the Ag Department, which is the hay show, which is sponsored by the Soil and Water. The bee keepers are in the building, Soil and Water, the Parks District. So I'm plugged in to that slice of our county. So I do have a passion for this, and I do believe that because of being on the fair board for 20 years, being in the agriculture department for those years, seeing the hay show, the parks, the beekeepers, I feel that I'm plugged in to that slice of Medina County.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much, Stuart.
Well, thank you so much, and I'd like to thank you for your vote, and I would give my heart to this, and I just thank you very much.
I'd like to introduce one of our candidates for supervisor. What is your name and what township do you live in?
I'm Steve Fulton, and I'm from Guilford Township. I'm a fourth-generation dairy farmer.
And why would you want to be a supervisor?
Well, I've been a supervisor for 30 years. I just like to see different conservation practices being applied to people's properties. And I make sure that they get funded properly. And so I've had a lot of experience over the years on funding and different things, the different opportunities people have to do with their property.
Nice. When did you first become interested in conservation?
Well, my dad, back when he was farming, or when we had some property that was hard to keep from eroding, so we started stripping the property, and then we kind of went from there, from different farms. We just continued that practice on other farms.
And what is the goal about Soil and Water Conservation District that you are passionate about?
I guess the goal is to keep it going, because we need to keep clean water, and one of the things that I guess that I'm passionate about is seeing the projects get done.
And what is an asset that you would bring to our board?
Well, we've had a lot of experience with the board, different board members, different employees, and so I think I'm qualified to make sure we have one of the best SWCD offices in the state.
Alright. Well, thank you, Steve, and make sure that you guys vote for your favorite candidate. Thanks.